All right, see what our light is looking like. See what I'm looking like. What we got going. Looks like I have did something else to the hair. Girl, you should did this for you got on here, ain't it? Let me do a little tie back stitch. Give me a second. 1 second. I know I have something here. Okay, hold on, girl. All right. Yeah, that's true. Maybe a little situation, like so. I don't know. Girl, Grand Rising, welcome, welcome. Come in, girl, sir. Come in. Hello, how are ya? I'm ready. I know I don't look like it, but I am. Come in. I'm going to wait for some more people to get on before I start running my mouth. If you're here, let me know who you are, where you're from, and how you're doing today. Please and thank you. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning back, welcome. I'm so glad to see you today. Today is episode 3 of a new series that we have just started called Return to Her. We are here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon. We love to have you. So make yourself at home. And like I always tell you when you come, make sure you bring a pen and a paper because I don't know where we're going to go, where we're going to end up. I get on here with a plan, but it doesn't always go as scheduled, okay? So we'll wait a few more seconds and let some more people come on before I get to going. How's everybody doing, though? How y'all doing with this cold weather? Let me know if you got any snow. Who is this? Omar M. Hey, baby, Grand Rising. How are you doing, love? What is the weather like where you're at? It's snowing where I am. It's melting here. It's starting to melt here. But it's still, I was going to say boots on the ground. It's still snow on the ground. It's so cold, too. Where are you from, Omar? I don't think I've seen you here before. I try to remember when I see people here not. So welcome, baby. Hey, Seneca. Hey, girl. Grand Rising. Who is this? Leo. Hey, Leo. Welcome, baby. Grand Rising. Come on in. Y'all staying warm. I hope you guys don't have to be outside in these elements. Hey, who is this? Ooh, Rose. Hey, baby. Hey. I'm going to say Rocks the Lover because I don't want to mess your name up. Hey, baby. How you doing? Hey, Tommy Lax. Okay, you're a man. Hey, love. Excuse me. Welcome. How you doing? King? How you doing, sir? Welcome. I got space for you, too. I know I get on here and my platform is based around women, but like I will say all the time, my love is universal, right? The things that come out of my mouth are universal. So if you are a man, you can absolutely get in on some of this. You still my baby. Not your baby. I didn't know that. They say you learn something new every day. Well, welcome. So like I said, get comfortable, take a seat. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the lesson. If at any point you have any questions or comments, please feel free to chime in. I tell you guys all the time, this is your space. This is our space. I'm here for you. So if you have anything that you want to talk about, something that you're dealing with, bring it to the thing here and we can shed some light on it, okay? You need to write my number down. Dang. Not you trying to, I thought we was doing a lesson here, sir. Not get your number down. Your dog died. I'm so sorry. Who is this? Rockster left. I had somebody last week. Their cat died. I don't know what is going on with these animals, but I'll tell you what. You already know how I feel about it. I have 2 dogs, and I absolutely love them to death. Look, she just got in trouble here for throwing up on the floor. You know, I got an old lady, and I just told her she was getting on my nerves. I'm sorry, Chalos, because I love my baby. So I'm sending you love, healing, prayers, and all those beautiful things, my love. It's going to be okay. So, like I said, if you have anything, feel free to drop it down below. If you missed the first 2 episodes, go back and watch them. They're here on my YouTube channel, okay? So today's episode, our topic is going to be grieving the woman you had to survive. And since I know I got some gentlemen on here, we're going to say grieving the person that you had to become to survive, okay? I'm going to like for you. Good. Bless you. Yeah, I'm praying for you, baby. Like I said, I loved my animals that I've lost, and I love the ones I currently have. So losing an animal is just like losing a person. So it's in the same category to me. And look, today we're talking about grieving, right? So my heart is with you, my love. And so, you know, unfortunately, lives, right? Life is going to put us through all these different experiences at one point or another. And what happens is, well, when we come into these experiences that we are unprepared for, and we come into these certain emotional states and we're unable to process them, you get stuck in survival mode. That is where your survival mode begins. And whether or not you have the wisdom, knowledge, skills, tools that you need to process that area of your life, unfortunately, many of us get stuck in this survival mode. So if you find yourself in this space, please know, my love, you are not by yourself, okay? There's a kind of grief that we don't talk about enough, and that's not the grief of a loss of, of a loved one or a pet, whatever it may be, but it is the grief of walking away from that person that you had to become to survive these things that you have gone through. The versions of you that had to be hard when you wanted to be soft. The versions of you that were quiet when you really wanted to speak. So today is not going to be about fixing that, but we are going to take some time to honor her, to honor him, okay? You're my favorite person to talk to. Oh, thank you. Look, I love that for us. And you're one of my favorite people. And whenever you need me, please know that I am here. And this is what I'm here for, okay? You know, the whole reason that I got online or Spirit placed me here, I absolutely know, is because I've gone through not only the majority of my life, but my journey when it came to me coming in and changing myself, saving myself, having to grieve myself, returning to myself, evolving into my higher self, right? My spiritual awakening and all these things. I had to do them by myself. And I'm not going to ever say that I was by myself because, you know, I'm spirit-led. I'm God-led, right? But in this physical realm, in this external place that we sit in, this place that we call life, I was absolutely by myself. And had I not been who I was, I don't know that I would have been able to overcome or endure this process. So me being here is for you to know that you will never be alone, not as long as I got a breath, okay? You will not be by yourself, and I mean that. I am from Texas, my love. Where are you from? Who is this? Fact Lohani. Hey, baby, welcome. How are you doing? Grand Rising. We're not ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. Please don't ever feel that way when you come to this space. And you know, when you come in this space, right, you're going to come in with a loving soul here, right? We don't do in this space, okay? So make sure you're mindful of that. This is a space of healing. And I want everybody to be able to be comfortable in this space. So the first thing is I want you to understand is that grief is not regression, okay? Grief is part of the progression. I know that a lot of times it feels like you're going backwards when the grief shows up. And a lot of times people think, you know, I should be past this, or why is this showing up now? And I'm going to tell you, when you find yourself in this space of grieving, this is because your soul is finally in a position where it feels safe enough to start processing these emotions. Because when you begin to process, right, part of this journey is the alchemizing and the transmuting of these energies, okay? And so one thing that I absolutely have learned and know for sure is that when you are on this journey, when you are on this path, your higher self is guiding you. And if you understand your higher self and where that derives from, you understand that that is God, that is spirit, that is universe, whatever it is that you believe in, but that is a higher source. So it's all about you trusting this space enough to allow yourself to be open, honest, transparent, and vulnerable with yourself. Okay? This is your time. This is your space. A part of us honoring the woman, the man that we had to become to survive is understanding that had they had not showed up for us then, we wouldn't be in the position that we are right now. And that position here is a part of the healing process, okay? Now, one thing about this journey is understanding that the old version of you, she's done all that she can do here. He's done all that he can do here. Okay? And up to this part, up to thus far, they've absolutely done the best that they could. But the only way for this transformation to take place, the only way for us to go in and be able to integrate with your higher self and rise up is going to be letting the old version of us go. Now, I can tell you this and now. Hey, little bear Amber. Hey, love. How you doing, my love? Welcome, welcome. I can tell you now, she's going to fight. He's going to fight. To think that you would be able to go from one version of yourself to another without any hindrances, without any hesitation, without any resistance, any backlash. Well, that's what you call a thing too good to be true, ain't it? I don't think I've seen you here before, baby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I don't believe in coincidences. So if you find yourself here, you're absolutely here for a reason, on purpose, okay? My advice to you would absolutely be to figure out what that is. So your path, this is where how your path begins to become illuminated here, okay, baby? And so like I was saying, that old version of you, she's gonna fight. He's going to fight. Which they are expected to, right? This has been the version of you your whole life thus far. Okay? Not only that, everything that you know, everything that you love, everything that you have some type of connection to, some type of ties to, is in that old version of yourself. Right? That's your comfort zone. To go into the new is you going somewhere you've never been before. That is going to be a fight. Okay? So I want you to know that this is a natural part of the journey. But the beauty of it is, though, the beauty of this part is you getting to see those beautiful characteristics and aspects of yourself that you've not been able to see in such a long time because you've been in that survival mode, right? Because what did we talk about last time? About the last time here. Part of that looking at yourself in the mirror and not recognizing yourself is because you have become this part of yourself that is stuck in that survival mode. Okay? And for a long time, let me tell you this, I didn't realize that I was carrying grief. Okay? I just knew that certain moments would catch in my chest here. Certain memories would feel heavier than they should. And it's not that I was missing who I was also missing what she didn't get. Once we go into that survival mode, you have to understand. Once you go into survival mode, you can only see on a certain level here, on a certain perspective here. And what do we also know? You can only see on the level of consciousness that you reside. So when you're in survival mode, what's going on when you're in survival mode? We don't feel the best about ourselves. We don't have the best self-confidence. We're not doing the best self-talk. We're not pouring into ourselves. There's not a lot of positivity dwelling there. And so what happens is, again, when these beautiful opportunities are coming to you, right, and presenting themselves to you, a lot of times, not only do you not see them, when you do see them, you don't feel like you deserve. And so once we find ourselves of this grieving of that old version of ourselves again, now you're raised up in your elevated perspective here, and you're going to be able to see all these things that you feel like you might have missed out on, etc., or whatnot. And that too is also okay. Remember, we've not lost anything. And even if you do feel like you have lost, guess what? The only thing we can do moving forward is gain. Right? Part of becoming your higher self, part of becoming the beautiful version of yourself that you were created to be here, is tapping into all your hidden gifts, jewels, and talents here, the things that are lying repressed in your system. Okay? You've not had access to these things yet because of operating out of this old version of self. And now what happens is once you begin to come into this higher version of yourself, you're going to get access to all these beautiful things here. Okay? One of the hardest truths that I had to face was the moment that I realized that one of us had to go here. Okay? Because, it's two. It's the light, it's the dark, it's the low, it's the high, it's the good, the evil, the bad, the ugly, whatever you want to call it here. But it's two of you in here, and a lot of times what happens is we're straddling the fence and you've not yet picked a side here. Okay, that's where a lot of that survival living comes from too. Okay, let me say that. That's a little side note. Hey, my love, how you doing? I've been thinking about you, right? I've not seen you in so long. How are you doing? Where are you at? I know you're out on the road, and I hope you're not. I hope you're put up somewhere, but be careful out here with this ice. But look, I missed you. I've been thinking about you. I'm glad to see you here this beautiful day. That just made my soul happy because I've really been thinking about you. I've not been on. You were mostly on my little night vibes and stuff, and I've not been in that space. So I'm really glad to see you, Robert. So glad. So glad. Now, like I was saying, you know, I will always tell you the truth. I remember the day that I remember God, the day that I could see that old version of me fading away while that new version of me was coming to surface. And this is where a choice had to be made, because at the end of the day, I was tired. Okay? I had had enough. And I absolutely knew and understood, in order for my life to change, that means I had to change. And in order for me to be different, I had to adopt and gravitate over here to this growth mindset. I couldn't continue to operate out of this fixed mindset that I was operating out of, that lower vibration of myself. And well, when I realized that, again, that's when the grief started, because that's your picking. That's the moment here. You have to pick who's moving forward here. And I chose the new me. I chose that higher version of me. I did not know her yet, granted, but I absolutely had been doing a little mingling with her, right? Because that's how the process, that's how the journey normally starts. When your higher self first, look, when he first show up, you know you got to size him up, right? So it's all the side eyeing and the, you know, again, that's that trust. You have to build that rapport with your higher self. You don't know her like that. You don't know him like that. And nor do they know you like that, right? And the way you feeling right now is being the old version of yourself. You feeling like your higher self is looking at you some kind of way. So again, you think you was ready to stand on business. You ready to stand on business now, because now you don't want to go. And so at that moment, again, I remember seeing, I could see the old me and I could absolutely see the higher me. And I knew at that moment I had to pick a choice. I mean, I had to choose a side. And as soon as I chose to go that way, everything that she had to keep me down here began to appear. I'm going to tell you this, and I want you to pay attention to this. Every choice that you make, every time you make a choice in your life, every time you choose in your mind, in your heart, and in your soul space, something in this world, in your physical realm, is going to show up to throw you off course. And it is absolutely there on purpose. It's a part of you picking that side. It's a part of that test and trial situation. I'm telling you now, start paying attention. The moment you decide, I mean the moment something is going to show up in your life, I guarantee it. And you need to be aware enough. You need to be conscious enough to be able to identify, to be able to observe these situations when they come, so you can make the right choice. Every choice that you make, it either reinforces the old you or commands the new version of you. Every choice. Okay? And you need to be able, again, to discern and decipher. You are in the biggest fight that you will ever be, and one of them that you will ever have in your life. And that is the battle for you. For you are fighting yourself for yourself. Let me say it like that. You will never need yourself as much as you do than you do right now. So you got to be able to show up for you, despite what it feels like, despite what it looks like, despite what you know and what you're used to. Because another side to this journey is, even when you start to make the changes, right? Even when you begin taking the steps, you're going to find yourself gravitating back to the old at some point. And it's only because it's easier. It's less work. You don't have to do much, because you're not going to feel like fighting every day. You're not going to feel like showing up every day. So again, this has to be not only a choice, but a decision that you are committed to over time. That's what this looks like. It's also understanding that the things that you have experienced up into life thus far, they absolutely have an impact on the person that you currently are. And I mean your heart space, your mind space, and your soul space. Depending on what you've been pre-exposed to, depending on what you've experienced thus far, it absolutely plays a part in who you are today. If you've not had the best experiences in life thus far, how open do you think you are going to be to change? How willing are you going to be to going out and experiencing something different? Especially when a part of that experience is you're going to have to fail before you succeed. And well, if you've not had the best experiences in life, then guess what? You're tired of failing. You don't want to keep failing. But again, you're also not understanding that there's no such thing as failure. Every time you fail, every time you don't make it, you're actually a step closer to get into where you're trying to be, but you've not adopted this mindset yet. So again, you need to be able to discern and decipher what's happening, why it's happening, and choose accordingly. So you can be able to maintain that higher vibration of self. Okay. Now, when I say the higher vibration of self, that doesn't mean you're always going to be in a good mood and everything's going to be. No, that's not what that means at all. But what it does mean is being able to hold your mindset, your awareness, your consciousness, your vibration, despite what is going on around you, outside of you. You have to be able to withstand the weather, the conditions of life around you, because it's not going to stop. But it is a part of your shaping and your molding, okay? I know for me, and this is something that tends to happen. Once you find yourself in survival mode, it's always in the midst of a storm, right? It's always because something happened. That's how you got into survival mode, because something happened to you. And well, unfortunately, when these things happen, that vibration becomes your dormant state, and before you know it, you're not living at all. You're just existing because you're operating out of that survival mode. Now, the other thing about survival mode, let's talk about it for a minute, right? Because remember, you are what you feel, believe, and think about yourself. And as long as you operating out of that survival mode, that means you're operating out of that victim mindset. When you're in survival mode, you are the victim, honey. I'm telling you, I know, because I was there. And I used to be very good at it, okay? She was a professional survivor, victim, good victim storyteller. I've already told you this here. And so what happens is you get stuck. You get stuck in this place here. And before you know it, you've got 5 years, 10 years gone by, and well, you've not lived at all, because you've just been doing nothing but going with emotions. You're barely trying to stay afloat. Just when you're in victim mode, that means every time something in your life happens, it's happening to you. That means life is constantly beating you down. If something is always happening to you, nothing is ever happening for you. And if nothing is ever happening for you, you're not going up, you're going further down. Okay, so I need you to be mindful of this. This is your life and you absolutely have control over it. It may not look like it right now. It may not feel like it right now, but this is where you come in, where you have the power and the ability to shift the trajectory moving forward here, because it doesn't have to continue to go that way. It doesn't have to continue to stay at a flat line. That is a choice that you make, and you make this choice daily, my love. So when we talk about you coming into the new you have to learn how to do that. You're not going to know how to move different, walk different, talk different. This is going to come through the guidance of what? Your higher self. So now when we talk about choosing a side, this is where you have to trust yourself enough to choose your higher self and move anyway. This is where your faith comes in. Faith is taking that first step without knowing. If you're going to miss or fall, you don't know if the step is there or not. But you trust yourself enough. You want more for yourself enough to take that risk, ain't it? That's faith. And this is what you need right now. When it comes to you returning, baby, to her, to who you are at your core, to who you were created to be, you're going to have to tap into your faith, my love. Okay? I can remember being on my journey, and it didn't matter. I could be in a house full of people. I could be in a venue, in a place, in a space, an event, whatever it be, and still feel lonely. That was because I was holding myself, though, in that victim mentality. I was operating out of that victim mindset. But I'm saying that to say this. If you thought you were lonely then, wait till this journey begins. But that solitude, you need to be able to learn to lean into that solitude, because that's where the answers to your questions are going to come from. That's where your revelations are going to come from. That's where your insight, your hindsight, and your foresight happen. That's where that intuition is able to come in and speak. That's where that still small voice is able to get your attention. That's when God's spirit is really able to move, is when you in that solitude, because your attention is present. There's no distractions. So that solitude a lot of times is on purpose. But again, when we operating out of survival mode, right? When we're in that victim mentality, oh God, the last thing you want to do is be by yourself, because that voice is so loud. She is so loud. He is so loud. And the thing about it is, there's nothing good coming out of the mouths of this voice that you are hearing. All this voice is constantly doing is beating you up, telling you why you don't deserve, why you shouldn't, why you can't, why you not, why you, oh God. So I get it, right? I understand that. But in this season of your life, that solitude is going to be different, okay? That survival mode, that victim mindset, that was a season that you went through and is no longer needed. Nor are you allowed to bring anything with you from that season to this season. You don't need none of that. You don't need any of that. Yes, you're grieving your old self, and you're going to be missing that part of her, but I'm going to tell you now, when you get to the space to where you have fully transitioned over and your integration has begun, let me tell you what, she going to show back up, because there's pieces of her that you need. That strength, that resilience, that perseverance, that overcoming, that endurance, you got that from her, the old you. And at some point in your life, I guarantee you, you're going to need that. Those characteristics that she embedded in you. And guess what? In those times, you will see she's going to show back up. So again, you're not losing anything now. This is just the end of her season. Okay, I want you to look at it like that. This is just the end of her season. Okay, but she'll be back. She'll be back. Just she has to go away for a little while. Okay, her time is up right now. So, what this grief is really about when you find yourself here is grieving the time you spent surviving instead of living, right? And when you get to this part here, I want you to give yourself that grace, because remember, if she hadn't showed up for you then, you wouldn't be able to show up for you now in this way. Okay, that's how you look at that. You've not lost anything. Nothing has ever happened by mistake. It's all been a part of your shaping and your molding. And so when you get into your solitude, right? When you get into your cocoon, when you get into your space here, ask your higher self, ask God, ask Spirit, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, to show you these things. You can, this free speech, ask for these things, whatever you need. This is your space to ask for it and allow her to show up for you. This is how that rapport between you and your higher self is built. Okay? You have to allow her, allow him to show you, right, the vision that they have, the things that you can't see. That's the only way for you to integrate. You have to be able to trust that part of yourself. You don't know her yet. You don't know him yet. So you have to take the time to cultivate this relationship. That way the transition is smooth. That's going to help your transition, okay? Because like I said, what did I just tell you earlier? There's going to be moments where you're going to revert back to her. You're going to revert back to him. And that's okay. Just make sure, though, at these moments that you don't stay too long, okay? Now, another one is going to be grieving the support you needed when you didn't receive it. But you're going to get it now, because your higher self is here. God is here. Spirit is here. The universe is here. You just got to stay here long enough so you can see it. Okay? Feel it. Learn what it looks like. Okay? Until it becomes a part of your norm. And grieving the safety you didn't have. Remember, that's a part of you grieving now. That's a part of you feeling like you going back, or a part of you that feels like it took too long because you felt like this should have happened before now. Well, guess what? You weren't safe until now, and that's why this is happening now. Okay? So give yourself that grace that you need in this space. Knowing, understanding that you are going to be doing this the rest of your life. So there's no rush. There's no rush. Make sure when you're going in and you're dealing with these things that are going to be coming up through your shadows, that you only got to deal with them once. You don't want to go in and do all this work and be living your beautiful life, right? And allow some piece of you that you didn't fully process, you didn't fully transition, you didn't fully heal, to be able to pop up when you get good and high up and have the ability to pull you back. You don't want that. So make sure that when you go into these spaces, you're giving them the time, the space, the attention that they need. Some may need more than others. Some may not need any. Whatever the situation is, make sure that you handle it accordingly, okay? And you give the proper time to that thing. The system is already not set up for you to flourish, for you to thrive. So you want to make sure you going in and dotting all your I's and crossing your little T's, so that way you setting yourself up for success. Okay? The last thing you want to be doing is fighting against yourself, because it will happen. It will happen. You may be your biggest problem and not even know it yet. Self-sabotage is a thing. Okay? I'm one. I used to be one here. It is nothing crazier than building yourself up, right? Through the fight, through the struggle of building yourself up, to come right behind yourself and tear down everything you've done. Because you feel like you don't deserve, or you're unworthy. It's too good. Don't do it. Okay? What I tell you all the time, I went through it so you don't have to, girl, sir. Listen to me when I tell you these things, okay? So I want you to confirm, right? Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. How am I trying to say this? We can't allow the grief to continue to stay in the past. It's time for us to witness it and deal with it so we can move on. Okay? Remember, sometimes, again, I just said this, self-sabotage here. And it's going to be one of those hard truths you have to face here. But when you find yourself moving along good on your journey, and then you just come to a halt, you're not moving, that's the time to go in and make sure you've not put up a blockage here for yourself. Okay? So, witness this grief. Feel it, go through it, so we can do what we need to and let it go so you can move on. You don't want to be your own stumbling block. You don't want to continue to hold yourself back. Again, what do we understand? Fight or flight, that's a natural response, right? Especially to change. The body is trying to protect you. Your mind is trying to protect you. But that protection can show up in a way that is also preventing you and hindering you from moving forward. So let's talk about a few ways to move through grief. How do you move through this grief? And the thing about it is, grief doesn't need solutions. It's not a problem to fix. Grief needs permission. It needs permission to come through to the surface. It needs permission for you to take that time to feel it, to process it, to go through it. We're not talking about grieving a loved one right now, but what happens a lot of times when people grieve loved ones? It turns your whole life upside down. Oh God, don't let it be a grief of like a husband, right? Or a wife. These long relationships. Oh God, it stops people in their tracks. And this is why a lot of times you'll hear people say, the day that so-and-so left, I left with them. They meant that. That happens. And in this situation, you need you to be able to let that one go and you stay. But you both can't go. Somebody got to stay. Okay? This new version of you, it's scary, it's unknown, but I always want you to think about this as this is an opportunity for you to go in again and change your whole life. If you can get a hold of these emotions, you can change your whole life here. If you can get a hold over your mindset, your heart space, your soul space, you have the power to change your whole life. Your life is not out of your control. It's just now about learning now how to live. Existing and living are two totally different things. Again, when you in survival mode, you used to a lot of things coming your way and they hurt. It doesn't feel good. And so that avoidance is a thing for you, right? Moving forward, you have to allow yourself to feel. I know it may be scary. I know it's uncomfortable. It's not going to feel good at first because you've not learned how to navigate it yet. But once you learn how to navigate it, this is you being able to go in and your life is going to do a 360. That's why I love circles so much. To me, a circle represents either a cycle, you can say trapped in, or it's a loop. It represents completion. Just because something happened back there doesn't mean it has to go with you all the way. You see what I'm saying? So this is choices again, choices and decisions, choices and decisions, choices and decisions. So giving this grief permission, okay? So what giving grief permission looks like is letting those tears fall when they're falling and you don't know why, you don't know where they're coming from. Let them fall. Remember, you got different senses. This is a part of your higher self. You don't know how to work them yet. You've not tapped into them yet. So these tears coming out, this your body cleansing itself out. This your body releasing. Let it go. Let it happen. Don't question it. Don't feel like you have to explain it to anybody else. None of these things. This is your life. This is your space. Do what you need to in it for you. You cannot do anything for anyone else moving forward if you are not okay. And when we say if you are not okay, we are tapping into a version of ourselves that we didn't even know existed. Speaking kindly to that past version of you. This is a part of honoring her, right? You don't have to, it's not a time to be judgmental and upset with what you didn't know then, what he didn't know then. Again, they did what they had to do to get you to this far, and their season is over. So now it's time for them to go and for you to tap in. There's no sense in you being upset at the old you or the, no. You know better, you do better. And unfortunately, you can only do what you can with the knowledge that you have when the situation or the experience presents itself to you. So you did the best that you could in that moment. That is it. Move on. Stop allowing the past to keep pulling you back. It should not have that much power. Okay? When memories start to come up, like you feel them in certain places, right? Like sometimes if I have a good memory, I'll feel it like, oh, in my heart, it makes my heart feel good, or sometimes if I have a not so good memory, I might feel it in my heart too, in my mind, my spirit. But I'm saying this so whenever you have a memory or something comes up and you feel it in that space, I want you to place a hand over that space and just sit with it. Allow your energy, your higher you, to go in and do what it needs to do, what she needs to do, what he needs to do. Laying hands upon, You have that. We all do, right? Again, you have the ability to heal yourself. You're just not tapped into it yet. But start laying hands on your body when these memories come up. Okay, this is how your nervous system is going to learn safety. I've already told you this. When certain things are happening to you and you don't know why, that's your nervous system regulating. That's your nervous system correlating, doing what it needs to do and all. But you're not privy to this information yet because you've not yet tapped into your higher self. So when you find yourself in these spaces, when you find yourself feeling a thing, take that time to acknowledge it. That is your soul. That is your higher self. Bringing it up to the surface so you can get that healing. The only way for you to move forward is to heal. Okay? And healing means you have to be able to love and accept all aspects of your life and everything that it entails, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Keeping in mind, I want you to always, always, always keep in mind that you can do this. If anybody can do it, you can. Okay? Again, I'll tell you, I don't believe in coincidences and luck and all these things. If you have a vision, if you have an idea, if you have that is your higher self. That is God. That is spirit revealing to you your potential, what you really are. Right? That's a part of your path being illuminated. You got to be able to understand your communication. You got to be able to understand how to receive. You got to be able to understand when you're supposed to be going left, but you want to go right. You got to tap in. It's time for you to tap in, okay? So I want you to always, always, always keep in mind that this journey is not about you becoming someone new. It is about you returning to who you are. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to see you all on Thursday. I thank you for being here. And again, if you have any question, comments, leave them below. I will answer them. Go back and answer them. Or we can pick them up next on Thursday. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. But what do I want you to absolutely make sure that you do for the rest of your day? Bye-bye.